The goalposts have moved so far in this administration, okay? It started with a 24-hour end to all wars. We're gonna make prices lower on day one. We're gonna make America great again. And now, every Trump supporter is left scrambling, carrying water, trying to defend why this court order, no. This court order is the one that was actually illegal and the one that Trump is allowed to defy. This was Donald Trump 2 months ago. 2 months in March, okay, talking about defying court orders.
This is leading people to wonder whether there are court orders that you will defy because you believe that the judge has no jurisdiction or they're political questions and not justiciable at all. And what would you say to that? Are there circumstances where you would defy a court order?
Well, I think that, number one, nobody's been through more courts than I have. I think nobody knows the courts any better than I have. I would say the chief judge does, but nobody knows them better than I have. And what they've done to me, I've had the worst judges. I've had crooked judges. I have judges that valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million because that benefited his case, because he wanted to see me convicted of something. I have judges that had relatives making millions and millions of dollars on the election, ruling on the election.
But going forward,
I had judges corrupt.
President, sir, can you please stop bitching about yourself? Can you please stop making yourself the victim? Can you please stop whining and crying about all of these different conflicts of interest? Ooh, conspiracy. Ooh, evil, corrupt judge. What about the over 60 court cases that were filed by you and your team after the 2020 election that were ruled down by not just Democrat judges, but your own appointed judges on standing, meaning you didn't even have fucking grounds to claim that anything was illegal to even begin with? How dare you? How dare you complain about the efficacy, about the judges in your cases, when you should be in jail for life? Like, the fact that you are the president right now is a testament to the failure of the justice system, okay? It is not like, oh, the judges were so corrupt in going after me. The judges were corrupt in not getting you fucking convicted. This was a month ago, okay? GOP senator says if Trump defies court order, I'll call him out on it. Senator John Kennedy said on Sunday that he does not think President Trump has defied any court orders involving Abrego Garcia's case, but the senator said he would call him out on it if he does. I love the rule of law. I love it like the devil loves sin. I think if we start not following federal judicial orders, we undermine the system entirely. I was watching Andrew Wilson debate Naima, a liberal that's on Jubilee a lot, and he asked her, if a king is able to make just rules, then why do we need to vote? He was arguing for the disenfranchisement of anyone who didn't have a stake in the country, and he used the argument, if a king is able to make just rules, why do we need to vote? Because this is America. This is America, okay? This is the fundamental, absolutely lovely, perfect, oh my God, lovely thing about America is that we have checks and balances. We have separate but equal powers. Yeah, America is great because we have free speech and we have diversity and we have immigrants. I'm not knocking any of that, okay? But why was America started? It was because of oppression from a monarch in England against his colonies in the America. It was to get away from a monarchy. When we were constructing the Constitution, we're going back and forth, all of the founding fathers were fighting about what kind of system we were going to set up, whether they were going to have one chamber of Congress, whether they were going to have two, if it was going to be a bicameral legislative. They were arguing about Alexander Hamilton wanted the president to be referred to as His Majesty. Okay, and they ultimately ruled against that. Why? Because it would give too much power to the president, which they didn't want. The president at that time was just supposed to be like a figurehead for foreign affairs, okay? They were dealing with negotiations. Washington was the one trying to figure out whether or not we should or shouldn't go into the French Revolution. I'm really channeling all of my Hamilton knowledge right now. But it's so crazy to me that Trump supporters forget the entire fucking reason why America works and the reason why it is the way that it is and the reason why we are the best and the brightest. I have such immense American exceptionalism. Okay, enough of that. Why am I preaching about checks and balances? Because Donald Trump has violated yet another court order But this one is especially fucked, okay? There are specific stories that are just really all encapsulating of everything that is like wrong with a specific issue. And I feel like this one is everything that's wrong with Donald Trump. Not only are we violating court orders, but we are violating court orders again to deport people illegally. Okay, not only are we deporting people illegally, but we actually don't know where the plane is anymore and we don't know where they went. Not only is that all happening, okay, but we're deporting them to South Sudan, a genocide-stricken, poverty-riddled, unstable, like, oh my god, this country is in shambles. A country that we just cut off millions of dollars of aid to help them with aforementioned genocide, humanitarian crisis. It's just, like, why? Judge signals concern that deportations to South Sudan violated court order. Judge tells Trump administration be prepared to return migrants. A federal judge told the Trump administration to be prepared to return migrants who lawyers believe were deported to South Sudan and it signaled concern that administration had violated a prior court order. U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy in Boston held an emergency hearing Tuesday on the whereabouts of a Burmese national and possible others who lawyers say received notice they were being sent to South Sudan and were removed soon after. This was the court holding. This was the court filing in question, okay? This temporary restraining order, emergency temporary restraining order, and preliminary injunction on behalf of class members, NM and TTP, and all other similarly situated class members, everyone on the flight. Defendants failed to comply with this court's preliminary injunction, specifically with respect to class number NM. Defendants failed to provide an opportunity for him to apply for protection under the United Nations Convention Against Torture as to South Sudan. On information and belief, class member was denied the same opportunity. Although it should not be necessary in light of defendants' continued intransigence, plaintiff seek also an emergency order reaffirming that defendants may not remove these people or any other class member to a third country unless they comply with this quarter's preliminary injunction. And now today, immigration attorneys say they were told they were being deported to South Sudan, but Trump's lawyers won't say where the plane is. Everything is classified. War plans detailing specific times of aircrafts to drop bombs, those are not classified. That's not classified information, okay? The Secretary of Defense can actually add all of that into a group chat with his fucking brother-in-law and his wife, okay? The National Security Advisor can add the editor-in-chief of the fucking Atlantic into a group chat discussing specifics on attack plans on the Houthis in Yemen. But immigration attorneys are not allowed to know where their client's fucking plane is being deported because it's classified. I read through the opposition that the administration had for the TRO, for the temporary restraining order, okay? I should have gone to law school. Maybe this could have been me, okay? The court should deny plaintiff's motion for temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction because the plaintiff's request for relief is extraordinary in a case arising in district court. For the reasons discussed at length in the government's opposition to plaintiff's motion for preliminary injunction relief, this court lacks jurisdiction to order defendants to return OCG. The entire argument that they're making is that it's not likely to succeed on merits. And you should only file a temporary restraining order if it's likely to succeed on merits, okay? The court must consider the plaintiff's likelihood of success on merits, okay? Do you want to know why it's unlikely to succeed? Because the fucking administration is stopping it. Like, what kind of circular fucking logic is... So actually, we don't think that you should even bother trying to stop us from deporting these individuals because it's actually just not gonna work. So you just shouldn't even waste your time. And how pathetic of you to even think that you would even have a chance of success on this. Where's the plane? Murphy asked DOJ lawyer Elianis Perez. I'm told that information is classified, and I'm told that the final destination is also classified. Then Murphy asked Perez the authority the government was invoking to classify the location of the flight, to which she responded, I don't have the answer to that. Murphy had ordered the government in March to not deport immigrants to countries they aren't allowed from, without allowing them time to challenge their removal in court. Based on what I have been told, this seems like it may be contempt. There's got to be a more harsh word for contempt of court, okay? You're literally breaking the law. Like, you're literally breaking the court's rules. It's not just contempt, like, oh, a little mishap, a little overstep. It's this negatively impacts you in standing by a jury of your peers. This is a bad thing. The good thing about the fact that the information is classified, it's not a good thing at all, actually. It's a very, very fine silver line, and it's that Sudan actually won't have to figure out what to do with a shit ton of extradited criminals now, in addition to all of the women and children that are dying over there. U.S. foreign aid threatens healthcare services for Sudanese refugees in Chad. 90% of the refugees are women and children, according to the UN. Sudanese refugees living in Chad likely didn't think the most recent US presidential election would impact them, but President Donald Trump's foreign aid freeze has put in jeopardy vital healthcare services provided to the UN. There's an entire report done after those shut down US aid just on South Sudan alone. Just 7 pages analyzing what the loss is to South Sudan and all of the different food, education, hygiene, things that we don't have to worry about as really privileged, superior, excellent Americans, okay? But, you know, other parts of the world, not so lucky. As Bill Gates said, the richest man in the world is killing the poorest children. How many different videos can you fucking title Donald Trump disobeys federal court order before that doesn't mean anything to America? Okay, it's not just the legality of the fact that he should be in jail. Culturally, we have people like Andrew Wilson advocating for kings and for the disenfranchisement of anyone that doesn't have any official stake or land or military service in the country. Like, culturally, we have people that are defending the arresting of judges based off of political opinion when judges are literally supposed to be nonpartisan. Like, it's absolutely insane how far away from the plot we've got as Americans. And it's sad. It's pathetic.